So we are live now at the start for a heat in the Princess Elizabeth Cup. We are looking down on the crew there on the Buckinghamshire station.
Radley and Groton,
which is Groton School from the USA against Radley.
Start you like this.
And you can now hear the umpire briefing the crews.
Go. Get ready, please.
So now we see it's a heat of the Prince Elizabeth Cup. Radley College.
Cox not happy there, so the Cox will keep his hand up until he is happy that the crew is straight. You can see how they're really not at all ready because they're not come forward. Now he brings them forward. And in a moment when the Cox is happy, he'll put his hand down and then the umpire will be able to start them.
Interesting positions in this Groton crew. Look how far forward the bow pair are. Rocks right forward. And all the rest of the crew sitting with their bodies up.
Goodness, well spotted. Now the hand goes down.
Attention! Go!
Well, let's see if that makes any difference. That bow pair didn't move, so it looks like they've got a system where the bow pair row a bit longer than the middle six in the boat.
Perhaps they're a little shorter.
Perhaps they are, perhaps they could be, yeah.
Well, it's working for them, their start. They've blistering start, not hugely straight, but up at 42 there.
No, and the Cox is having to do a little bit of steering here, but that'll probably be because of the wash that they feel off the island. As we have a look here, Radley looking very focused, trying to stay focused down the boat, trying not to be distracted by Groton and what Groton are doing here, but they've taken a fantastic lead from Radley College of 3/4 of a length at the top of the island.
Well, might not have expected this. This Groton school is a tiny school, 370 students, so only half of those are boys, so only 185 boys in the school. So to be able to field this against Radley, I don't know the size of Radley School. I'm putting you on the spot, Greg. But
well, Radley is certainly one of the premier rowing schools in the UK and have a very stable coaching system there with Angus McChesney running that and overseeing that. And certainly they have been great in the past. Yeah, it would be a shock to them if they were not to make it out of the first round of Henley, but there's still an awful long way to go. It's only a length, and we can see the Groton School taking a look there across to see Radley are starting to come back at them. They're not planning to go out on the first day of Henley.
I think with what we've seen already this morning, these USA crews come over and they're really fired up for their first race. They don't come over here and spend the time here unless they're really up for it. But this Radley crew now are eating him back at him every stroke.
Yeah, I think this could be a fantastic Henley race we're in for again, with that really nice aggressive start from Groton. But against that, we've got the rhythm and the power of the Radley crew.
So this Radley crew were third at the National Schools Regatta, so they've got some form. And the Groton School, interestingly, because it's such a small school, they race exclusively in fours, as do most of the small schools certainly in New England, and so they're not quite so used to racing in eights. They've come over here to have some eights racing. Marlow and Reading were their only eights races to date, but they put in a really good tidy start. But now Radley College, using their experience, coming back through them.
Well, it's interesting to me, just looking, the Radley bodywork just looks a bit better than the Groton bodywork. To me, the Groton boys, you can see them just kind of going this way and that way, and there's a few more different things going on. The Radley crew looks like it's more of a shunt of bodies coming towards you, looking strong and looking powerful and together. And I think that's what creates a strong rhythm.
They do look very strong rhythm, and as we looked into that head shot as well, you could just see now we've got a headwind. And that does have, if you've not got good control of your blades, it can tend to lift the blades up into the catch. And I think if we look at the Groton crew, you can just see how much higher their blades come off the water as they go into the catch, as opposed to the Radley College crew getting them down there.
That's a good spot, Alison. Yeah, they're just not quite as they don't look quite as together to me.
Have Radley College gone through? They were a length down at one point, but I think we're waiting for it's quite hard to tell from this angle, but
I think the crews are more or less coming towards level here, and we're about halfway through the race, so this is where it really starts to hurt. And Groton will be paying for that early pace. That when you go out that hard, you're going to put that lactic acid into your muscles, and once it's in, it's very hard to get it out, isn't it? So they're now carrying that, and they're just going through the halfway Fawley mark there.
Good fight, and I do believe as well that this kind of schoolboy racing in the States is only 1,500 metres, so this is a long way for these crews as well to have to find that extra 500 metres. Radley crew very used to it, and now they've gone through. Now, as you said earlier, they've really established a good rhythm that's just enabled them to eat away at this stroke by stroke. Coming through the quarter mile now, and it is, they've just put up that the Radley crew slightly ahead there.
Yeah, the Groton school are really going to have to keep fighting now. It's going to be tough for them. They look like they might still have a tiny lead, perhaps about a canvas,
yeah,
maybe
indeed.
a quarter of a length. But there's still a long way to go. We're only just coming up to halfway. We're through halfway in that third quarter, and it's really always the third quarter, which is pretty tough in any race, isn't it?
Well, apparently the favourite call in the Groton school boat by the Cox Pippa Higgins is guns and butter. So I wonder if they put in a bit of guns and butter call there to keep them in contention with Radley College.
Well, Radley College might hear what we call the Remenham roar as they go past the Remenham rowing, the Remenham club. But guns and butter sounds more exciting to me, and
Wow.
I don't know what that involves.
So now if we look at the three-quarter, you can see the little marker there, the three-quarter mile. Anyone who's tuning in and hasn't actually been to Henley, it's quite hard to tell from the pictures where the crews are, but you can see the three-quarter mile marker there. You've got the 2 and the 1, and the 2 indicates the crew on this side, on the left-hand side of your picture, and you can see they're probably just 2 feet up there. So at one point in this race, at the start of the race, they were almost a length up, and now it's down to about 2 feet.
And I think it's that strong rhythm from Radley, that just surge. The blades get locked in, they move the boat past, they move together as a unit, and they're strong and they're solid. Whereas to me, Groton are just a bit looser. The blades are just a bit looser in the water. The bodies don't look like they're quite so well together as they're coming down now towards the enclosures, and you can hear the crowd starting to go. And I think Radley might have got in front.
Well, yeah, and we keep saying that, though, but this Groton crew have showed some fight. They've showed some spirit. They've just stayed there. Look at them now. They're fighting all the way. It's a tiny school in the States here, and they're up against the might of Radley College, and they're absolutely not giving way. They've given us a good race. They've given Radley a good race, but it is Radley who finally, we'll see the next marker, look like they're coming through now.
Well, it's such a gutsy fight from Groton, isn't it? Because really, you look at the Radley crew, and there's hard to see they're doing anything wrong. They look like they're rowing really quite nicely. The Groton crew, the blade work's not necessarily together, but they're just so tough and gutsy to still be in there.
Nothing, I mean, yeah, nothing to be ashamed of in this performance by this Groton USA crew today. They put in a wonderful performance. They fought all the way. They pushed Radley College much harder than they would have liked all the way through this race. But now it's Radley College who lengthen out. They've just had the stronger rhythm, the longer, smoother stroke. Coming to the final stages, they've taken a lot out of Groton crew in those final stages of the race.
Yeah, I think in those final stages, once Radley got through, I think Groton would have known they're pretty done. And the confidence will go up. The relaxation will come in for the Radley crew. They'll be feeling the pain as they're coming down here to the line. They know they've had a tough opener in the Princess Elizabeth Cup. But Radley go through to secure the win, and Groton come through. Thank you, Groton, for coming. Thanks for a gutsy performance.
Yeah.
So brave to take it on like that.
That result doesn't really justify the race that they had.
And you can see the pain on their faces. You can see how much they've given in that Groton crew. They couldn't have been any braver. They couldn't have done any more. But that is a win for Radley College over Groton in the Princess Elizabeth Cup.